Greetings everyone. Today we are starting with the paper of Financial Accounting of BCom Honors course under New Education Policy starting from this year. So this is the course content of University of Delhi. For all other universities, you can check whether all these topics are there in this course or not, or you can tell me. Now, the objective of the course is to help the learners to acquire basic knowledge of financial accounting, that is the basic fundamental knowledge of accounting, then have the skills for recording of various types of business transactions and prepare financial statements. Now the learning objectives are that once you are gone through the whole course, you should be in a position to apply the accounting principles while recording the transactions and preparing these statements. That is, when you are making the journal entries or accounting for the transactions, or you're making final statements like trading and P&L account, etc., then how the different principles are applicable there, that knowledge should be there with you. Then you should be in a position to understand computerized accounting system and prepare statements, do the whole accounting process for a particular case. Students should be in a position to measure the business income by applying relevant accounting standards. They must know how to evaluate the effect of depreciation and inventories on business income. They should be in a position to understand the preparation of financial statements of sole proprietorship firm and non-profit organizations, which you have done in 11th and 12th standard also, but the level was basic. So herein we will be doing the typical adjustments, complex adjustments as well. Finally, you should be in a position to understand the accounting for branches, departments and leaves. Now the course content based on these objectives comprises of 5 main units, which are titled as number 1, theoretical framework and accounting process. Second is business income, accounting for property, plant and equipment and valuation of inventories. Financial statements should be prepared for sole proprietorship business and NPOs, not for profit organizations. Then you have accounting for inland branches, departments, leases, and finally computerized accounting system. The details are: number 1, in the theoretical framework and accounting process unit, this is divided into 2 subunits. Part A is conceptual or theoretical framework. So herein we will be studying the theory behind the accounting work. Till now you are familiar with the process of accounting. You pass journal entries, you prepare ledger accounts, you can understand the effect of different types of transactions. But which accounting concept is working behind this? The whole system, theoretical framework, will be studied here in theory, and the focus will be on the application of the theory. So one should not say that we will be getting only theoretical questions. You may get, you can say, analytical question or application based question also from this unit. Now in the conceptual framework, first of all we will be studying the accounting as an information system, its users and their needs. Then an overview of artificial intelligence and data analytics in accounting. As you all know that computerization is there in each field, and AI, artificial intelligence, has actually affected the working. So accounting is no exception to this. So how artificial intelligence and data analytics can be used in accounting, that we will be studying in this. Second is qualitative characteristics of accounting information, then in functions, advantages, limitations of accounting, branches of accounting, basis of accounting, different types of expenses and revenue and their classification into capital and revenue expenses. In case of expenditures, we have another category also, deferred revenue expenditures. Then what are events occurring after the balance sheet date? How do they affect the accounting? What are extraordinary items, prior period items? What is meant by accounting estimate along with the relevant standards, accounting policies? What is fair value? What is its meaning, recognition and disclosure as per the relevant standards? Requirement of provision, contingent liabilities and contingent assets. So all these things will be studied herein. Then continuing with this, we will be studying financial accounting principles. So you have given set of generally accepted accounting principles, which includes concepts and conventions. So we'll be studying those, and then the basic assumptions as per Int AS1. So wherever the standards are relevant, we'll be studying the particular standards too. Then you have accounting standards. Now we have Int AS, that is Indian accounting standards, which have been converged with the IFRS. Then convergence versus adoption, application of accounting standards in India, that is accounting standards which were previously there and now Int AS. Then international accounting standards, their meaning, need and scope. Second subunit of this first unit is accounting process. You all know that accounting is a process of recording, classification, summarization of the transactions, in the form of final statements, and then the analysis and interpretation and communication of the information to the concerned persons. So the whole process is to be studied in nutshell. You know this process, so you can just have an overview of the whole process and the steps involved. Then the adjustments, opening and closing entries, application of generally accepted accounting principles in the recording of the transactions and in preparation of the statements. One thing I need to point out here, although you people are familiar with the concept of GST, but maybe you have studied this in theory only in your 11th and 12th standard. But now GST will be an integral part of your accounting work. So wherever you have any purchase or sale, GST will be involved and we will be accounting for the same. Right? So that completes our unit 1. Unit 2 includes number 1, business income. Now in order to calculate business income, you need to understand the concept of revenue and business income. How do we measure it? What is the relevance of accounting period, continuity doctrine and matching concept in this? In case you have done this business income concept in your 11th and 12th standard, you know that this concept is based on 3 main principles: accounting period, continuity and matching concept. So what is the relevance of these 3 that we will be studying, and then the objectives of measurement of business income. Now within the objectives of measurement of business income, we will be studying revenue recognition with reference to AS9 and Ind AS 115. Finally, accounting for property, plant and equipment, which we usually refer as depreciation accounting. Right? So we'll be studying this along with the relevant standards, that is Ind AS 16 and AS 10. Then effect of you can say the depreciation on measurement of business income, effect of borrowing cost, government grants on depreciation, then accounting for intangible assets with reference to AS 26 and Ind AS 38. Valuation of inventories, again with the relevant accounting standards, different methods of inventory valuation and their effect on the business income. That completes Unit 2. Unit 3 is preparation of financial statements. This is for sole proprietorship and not-for-profit organization. Again, we will be taking up GST provisions alongside, and typical transactions are going to be very much part of the financial statements. Fourth is accounting for specific businesses, which includes inland branches, departments and lease. So we'll be studying accounting for these 3 types of businesses, again with reference to relevant accounting standards. Finally, computerized accounting system we have. We usually do it using a software called Tally, and this includes creating a company, configuring and its setting. Then you have creating accounts, ledgers, groups, stock items, voucher entry, then generating reports. See, you might be finding this very interesting. Like when you do accounting work manually, you have preparation of journal, which leads to ledger, then you have trial balance, and then you have final statements, which includes trading and P&L account, balance sheet, cash book, comparative statements, etc. for analysis. So many of you might have found that Making entries is simple, making ledger is simple. Then preparation of final statements requires a lot of analysis and understanding. But now you will be finding under computerized system, your work is over here only. Once you have generalized the things, system will automatically put the things in place, provided you have recorded the things correctly. If you have done the recording correctly, okay, so the focus is on creation of ledgers and their groups, creation of stock items and voucher entry. Once this is done, preparation of ledgers, trial balance, final statements, it's not a difficult task. You just need to click a button and reports are generated. So focus is here. Okay, then you have selecting and shutting a company, because on one software we can open many companies. You can create many companies and you can open a company, work in there, close it, and then open another company and work it there. So you have one software wherein you can create records of a large number of companies. So selecting a particular company to work in, shutting a company will all be part of computerized accounting system. Then backup and restore of data. When you work on computers, you know that if there is some problem with the computer, then your data may be lost. So how do we have the backup and restoration of the data? Now, in all the topics, please remember, I'm saying this again and again, all the relevant accounting standards are needed to be covered. Any revision in these standards will be applicable as and when it is done by the department. Then all calculations should be done considering the effect of GST. So GST will be there in all the transactions. Now your practical exercises, like one thing is you are going through a book, you are solving the questions, but this is what we have, the theoretical part. But how these things are done in real business scenario. So in order to understand the insight into the real business scenario, practical exercises have all been included, which includes you can download framework for the preparation and presentation of financial statements from the website of ICAI. Then you can analyze it for the qualitative characteristics. You can collect balance sheets of different business organizations and you can examine how these are prepared. You can take up the data of small business firms and examine what kind of policies they are adopting. You can take up their data and you can compile it in form of financial statements. You can prepare statements manually and then check it on the software. Then accounting for different type of branches can be done. You can collect data from your own college or any other NPO and you can prepare their statements. So these are some of the practical exercises which you can work on to have better understanding of the course. Now the references are these are some of the books which are referred in the university syllabus, and I have shifted a few, depending upon the new editions available. So for these 3 books, we have the new editions available. You can go through these books and you can take up any book, as a course book, which you find understandable, because every author has his own style of writing. So whichever clicks with you, you can buy that book. These are some more references. There are some foreign references also. You can have those also to understand how accounting is done there. Apart from this, since focus is on accounting standards, so you can download accounting standards from the website of ICAI or from the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and you can have a detailed reading of these. ICAI also has some teaching material, studying material also, so you can go through that too for understanding of the standards. Now this is all that you are going to study in your financial accounting paper. So how will you be assessed? So assessment is that you have 4 credit hours in all, comprising of 2 credit hours for lectures, 1 for tutorial and 1 for your practical lab class. Because your practical lab will be there for your computerized accounting systems. Your examination scheme is that your paper is of 100 marks. Out of 100 marks, your practical exam for Unit 5 will be for 20 marks and your Unit 1 to 4 are of 80 marks. Now again, this 80 marks comprises of 25 marks of internal assessment and 55 marks of theory exam, which you will be doing in the examination center. Herein you need to remember that your exam will be of 2.5 hours. Normally your exams are of 3 hours, but since herein one part of your course has been covered in the lab through practical exam, so remaining will be for 2.5 hours. So do your practice accordingly. Now these 55 marks will be assessed through 5 questions of 11 marks. So what is the proposed weightage? From first 3 units you will be having 1 complete question of 11 marks. From 4th unit, because it has accounting for 3 different types of businesses, you have 2 questions of 22 marks. But please do not take it as if that we can leave one topic, because we will be having only 2 questions of this, so we can solve 2 topics. You will be having internal choice, but choices will be set in such a manner that all the topics are covered. So maybe on one part you may be having a question of branches and department, second question may be of lease. So the questions will be in such a manner that we cannot leave any topic. We have to solve all the topics. Similarly, you might be saying that we have financial statements of sole proprietorship and NPO, and we have got only 1 question with internal choice. So students may think that it will be a choice between NPO or sole proprietorship. But this is not going to happen. Rather, you will be having question number 3 as part A may be from final accounts of normal businesses, part B from NPO, or again part A and B from these 2 chapters. So all the topics are to be covered, right? Now your practical exam of 20 marks will be of 1 hour, which will be taken in lab and through the external examiner. So marks are there for different components like your machine handling, company creation, then creation of groups and ledgers, voucher entry, and then the generation of reports. So in all 20 marks will be there as per this breakup. Thank you for this. So I hope the course content and the assessment is clear to you.